Hi guys and girls, welcome to Canadian Immigration Channel. In this video about case notes. Sometimes they're known as GCMS, they were previously known as CAIPS, but all in all we're talking about the same, about extracting information from federal authorities, sometimes provincial authorities, with respect to your visa application. And speaking about visa, we're talking here about temporary visas and all sorts of them, work visas, travelers visas, we're talking about student visas, and we're also talking about permanent residency applications. So your immigrant visas, despite the fact how you applied, was it through provincial nomination, was it through one of the business immigration streams, and so on and so on. So you have an option of extracting information and finding out what is going on with your case. This information is extracted in the PDF file where lots and lots of technical information is contained, and usually at the very last pages of this file you could find information about communication between officers and officers' opinion and decision on the case if such decision was made. So you could understand in more details why your case was refused or what is going on with this, why you were called for an interview, and so on and so on. Now, many of you who have requested those case notes and saw them before, so say you requested them on the third website somewhere on the internet, you get those case notes, you analyze it, that gives you some idea, sheds a light on the refusal, for example, on why your case might be delayed, but that does not answer all of the questions. And this video is about how to read those case notes, or rather what kind of information you could get them if you read them properly or somebody reads them for you who knows what's going on. Now let's start from applications which were delayed. Now, for example, if your application was delayed due to the security check, there is the possibility from case notes to understand whether this delay happened due to Canadian Security Services been checking thoroughly on your file, which in fact gives you an option to request information from CSIS and then get that information from them and sometimes push the case forward. We had circumstances where an applicant came to us with the express entry file which was delayed for more than a year and a half simply because it was stuck on that security check, and simple request to CSIS actually gave a kick in the back to the case, and the case started to roll forward properly. Now, another interesting option is, say, when you're invited for an interview and you do not know why. So you want to be prepared, you want to understand what kind of questions will be there, what kind of answers officers are looking for, and what exactly are they doubtful about. Well, GCMS notes might answer those questions. But last but not least, what you will be able to find in those case notes, information about your file refusal, information of what's going on with your file, information sometimes about the fact that your file is on the verge of being refused. And that gives you huge leverage in your hand so that you're able to revert the circumstances in your favor. For example, officers have calculated your points, they made a mistake, they have not taken into consideration some favorable factors, and you want to stop it right now. So they are looking to refuse your application, they're still communicating between each other. You're able to send them a notice saying, hey, I read my case notes, I want to just give you additional information about my file, I want to make sure that you understand me properly. Here is the way I'm looking at my work experience, for example, you did not calculate my points properly. So that would be able to reverse your situation. Another interesting option is when your file was refused, you read it, again, like you understand that the application was refused, but what makes a difference between you reading those case notes and the legal professional is sometimes a legal professional is able to understand that there is a good chance for you to have your file being brought to a federal court, and in this case, reverse the decision. It doesn't mean that federal court would issue you a visa, of course not, but what it will give you a chance to quash the previous decision of the federal officer and indeed resubmit the application or return the application for reconsideration, and it usually will be considered in your favor. As an example, an officer was looking at the file, the officer didn't like something in the application. For example, they see that you got money, but at the same time they're saying, you know what, you're making somewhat close to 500 Canadian dollars a month, which is not reasonable for you in terms of your future continuation of studies in Canada, and we believe that it just makes no sense for you to go and study in the country. This sometimes, in certain circumstances, might be a good reason to bring this matter in front of the federal court and in fact defend your application and in fact make sure that these whole circumstances are reversed in your favor. If you're looking to get case notes, if you're looking to read them, understand what's going on in there and how in fact to make sure that you rectify the previous refusal, or how to understand what's going on with your file, where it's heading to, when you will be approved, not approved, and so on, right? Feel free to send us an email. We'll be able to help you out with your case notes if you ordered them before or request the new ones. In other words, if you already have case notes, feel free to send us an email with them. If you want us to analyze, if you want us to look what's going on with them, if you need our help to rectify the circumstances, you could just send them to us and we'll be glad to help you out. Stay tuned with us and of course subscribe for the channel.